At the beginning of 2028, PlayStation will no longer be producing discs for their consoles. That is the news myself and many others were greeted with one sunny summer morning in July earlier this year. It seems all doom and gloom for physical gamers since Xbox barely has a presence anymore, all while Nintendo at least has game key cards, which is better than nothing. Is digital truly the future? Not just in the gaming sense, but in all types of media. Well, in this episode of Watersurf Side Tangent, I want to talk about the various aspects of why physical media is still important, and still important to me. Now, those of you who are familiar with other videos on my channel, you know I am a big physical media guy. I always try to make an effort to play games for my gaming hour show on the original hardware. I have a whole bookshelf dedicated to my physical CD collection, and my Blu-rays share a big old bookcase with my video games. I can say that physical media is important to me, at least the stuff that I care about. Of course, I do have a Steam library full of digital games. I have a plethora of digital movies thanks to the Movies Anywhere slip that comes in most of those physical Blu-ray purchases. And yes, I even do have a Xbox Series S that sits behind my second monitor that most of my audience had no idea was even there to begin with. And don't worry, I will share some of my favorites from my physical collection toward the end of the video, but right now, we need to discuss the elephant in the room. Digital media exists, and that's alright. I understand the many different options we consume are various different types of media. I would even boldly state that you are watching this digitally, are you not? Yeah, obviously a YouTube video is digital, but that's not the focus of this dumb little video essay. The focus is on the media that also has a physical media option. That's the key word, option. I have the option to go out and buy this Switch 2 game physically, just like I have the option to go buy this Xbox game digitally. I have the option to buy this movie on DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, or even just get it digitally on one of the many different platforms. I know physical media and the non-gaming aspect is kind of on the way out in terms of brick and mortar stores. I know Best Buy pretty much stopped selling movies and TV shows a long time ago, but now they also have a third-party store, but that's a different topic. The Target local to me got rid of their movie section in favor of a big old book section. I also know Walmart still carries physical media, but mainly DVDs, while the Blu-rays tend to be locked up behind glass. At least that's how it is for the one that's closer to me. And yeah, you can always just order physical movies online via Amazon, Groove, and many others. Physical media is available if you know where to look, but that leads me to another question. What forms of media are widely accepted as just being digital most of the time? I want to focus on music. Yeah, a lot of us stream our music nowadays via Spotify, YouTube Music, or even Apple Music or one of the many others. I'm not really here to discuss streaming, but full-on buying digital music. I know I'm probably not alone with this, but if I like a song, I will go out of my way to buy it digitally on Bandcamp, Beatport, and or iTunes. Music is probably one of the types of media that is consumed 99% digitally by the masses, be it probably streaming, of course. The nice part about buying music digitally, for the most part, is that I'm able to do whatever the hell I want with it. Put it on my iPod? Sure. Burn it to a CD? Hell yeah. Put it on a flash drive and play it on another computer? Yes, please. Now, of course, people are still buying physical music as well. There are a ton of specialty releases coming to older formats like cassette and vinyl, as it adds an aesthetic for the music. I personally like getting music on CD still, but I am 100% okay with getting music digitally if that is an option as well. And that's one of the biggest things with music, is that there is plenty of options. I can stream it, I can buy it digitally, or I can even get it physically on a CD, if available, of course. And I know that this video isn't streaming based, but it is great that I can finally listen to Nintendo music in my browser, because I write a lot of scripts on the computer and I always forget about the app on my phone. But anyway, let's go ahead and shift over to books and movies and TV shows. I know there are two types of media that are both on physical and digital, is books, movies, and TV shows. While I am not really a heavy reader or a book guy, I will say that it is nice to see physical books are on the rise again, as sometimes it's just better to read a physical book instead of on a tablet or a Kindle or something. I know that's another thing where it gets weird with books, as some books are restricted to the Kindle or some type of application, so you don't really own the book you have. Yes, of course, there are ways around that via jailbreaking your Kindle and whatnot, but that's a separate conversation. Just like how you can read a book via listening to it as an audiobook, but even those existed as physical media when I was a kid, like on cassette tapes. I remember one of my friends had one of the Harry Potter books on tape as we listened to it on a car ride one time. It is nice to have books physically though, especially because some of my books aren't technically available in a digital format, but I will talk about one of those special ones towards the end of this video. Moving over to TV shows and movies, I sort of have beef with this. I hate how some great movies and TV shows are streaming exclusive and are locked to streaming platforms and have not or will not get a physical release. An example that comes to mind is the movie Palm Springs. I had to import a Japanese version of the film, which is still in English by the way, since it never got a physical release over here in the States. That's also a quick side tangent of why do different audiences around the globe get physical releases, but we don't? I blame streaming, but I digress. Most major releases will still get physical releases though. Granted, it's a month or two after the digital version, which is completely fine. There are even some companies that will bring older shows or movies to physical, like Shout Factory or Discotheque. I do also know that some physical releases get expensive for those anime enthusiasts out there, especially because they like to split up the seasons into 2 parts for some reason. I mean, I know the reason, but still. You could also just wait for the full season release or full series release as well, but sometimes that takes forever or may just never come out. I know it took forever for Chainsaw Man Season 1 to come over to Blu-ray over here in the States, and it was expensive as hell if you got directly from Crunchyroll. For some reason, the Walmart Steelbook one was like $30 when I got it. Suck eggs, Crunchyroll. Now I know some of you may be asking, what's the benefit of getting physical movies or TV shows over just streaming them over and over again? Well, for starters, the quality never dips if your internet gets spotty. It might also just be cheaper in the long run to get a complete set of your favorite comfort show, if available, because we both know the only reason you have Peacock is to stream The Office. Some of these streaming sites also will release their shows on physical media as well, as I know the Scott Pilgrim animated show finally got a physical release, just as an example. But what if your favorite show isn't available on physical media? Psst, hey, come over here for a sec. Yeah, zoom in. Bootlegs are a thing as well. Remember how I said you could burn your music to a CD? Well, DVD-R as well as Blu-ray-R exist. I'm not over here advocating for piracy, but sometimes you just want to watch one of these mini shows without having to pay however many dollars a month for it. There are also a ton of bootlegs available via eBay, Etsy, and some of those other sites that I know will have bootlegs available. I know I have a few, and some of them are even higher quality than the ones that got physical DVD releases later down the line. Looking at you, regular show. Anyway though, I think it's time we move on to the main topic of this video, and that's video games. Video games are probably the most interesting case of why physical media is important. There are a ton of video games that play on various different consoles and have never seen re-releases, remasters, and/or remakes on newer hardware. Yes, emulation exists for PC players, but not everyone has a PC or a powerful enough PC to emulate some of these consoles from the 6th generation and above. Sometimes you also just want the simplicity of popping a cartridge into a Super Nintendo or sliding a disc into your PS5. On top of that, we both know that modern games are getting really big digital storage-wise. Look, Call of Duty. I also know that some of you might argue that most modern consoles tend to install the contents of the disc onto the console itself, so why even bother getting it physically? I have to get up and I have to put the disc in the console. On top of that, there's always day one patches since the disc never has the full game on there anyway. Plus, DLC gets added, and that tends to be digital download only. It's just easier to buy the game digitally, and that's where I agree, but I also disagree. Depending on the game publisher, some games don't see deep discounts on the digital storefront, but they do physically after a while. For example, Red Dead Redemption on the PS5 costs about 20 USD on Video Games Plus, but on the PSN store, that costs 50 USD. Since I have a PS5 with a disc drive, that's a pretty goddamn good deal, and I can pick it up. Now, if I went over to my Xbox Series S and wanted to get something on there, oh wait, 50 USD. Well, guess I'm going to get it physically then. You see this all the time with a bunch of different games, sometimes even a few weeks after they are released. Now, there is an outlier to this, and that's Nintendo, but I will talk about them in a moment. Another good thing about physical games is that anyone and everyone can play them if they have said consoles. I could send my copy of Bloodborne to someone in another country and they'll be able to play it as long as they have a PS4. I can sell my copy of Pokemon Legends ZA and get some of my money back now that I'm done playing it. I can put my copy of Choro-Q Park on the Sega Saturn on my shelf and never play it again because guess what? It's a bad game, but that's my copy and I can do whatever the hell I want with it. That's the cool part. The upside of older consoles as well is that there is no license attached to these discs either. I'm like 40% sure that my copy of Halo Campaign Evolved, the new Halo remake, is going to be dead in the water after a few years when Microsoft gets bored with it. Probably not true, but we'll find out. I also want to make one more point toward physical game media, and that's the accessibility. Remember how I said I could send my copy of Bloodborne to someone in another country? Well, some countries don't have access to certain digital stores for whatever reason. I know this was a big deal when PlayStation locked some of their single-player PC games behind their network, and it cut off access to a ton of gamers around the world. This is also one of the main issues with a digital ecosystem, is that some gamers will get left behind because it's not offered in their country, or they might just not have the internet to ever download games to begin with. I know that's a good reason why I still like getting games physically when I can, and it's internet reasons. At my current residence, I don't actually have good internet. We used to have satellite internet for the longest time, and if you know anything about that, it kind of sucks. Now we are on a hotspot internet, and luckily we are very close to a 5G cell tower, but I know many others might have it worse. Physical games are sometimes the only way people can play these games, even if some of those games are in a buggy ass state. Anyway, I think it's time I move over to Nintendo. I know many people have a love-hate relationship with them. One of the best but worst things they did for physical gamers is the key card for Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, it's great that I have a physical license for a digital game that I can resell at any time, but that also defeats the whole purpose of getting the game physically. This is one of the instances where I would rather get the game digitally or just get it on another platform if it's available. This is one of the main reasons why I never picked up Pokopia, because it's a key card. Maybe if they do a actual physical release with all the DLC on it, then I'll probably pick it up. But until then, I'm holding out and I'm completely fine with it, if I never even get to play it. Another thing Nintendo did recently was increase the cost of their first-party games by 10 USD for the physical version. Now I know this has caused some controversy, but I also understand that putting games on a cartridge like these is a tad bit more expensive than doing a disc. I'm personally okay with this because some retailers are charging for the digital price despite it being a physical release. This tends to only be for pre-orders though, but I know with Nintendo first-party games, they never really see a drop in value or go on sale. I also feel like Nintendo will be the last to go completely digital out of the big three. The physical market is huge in Japan, and that's not just including games. I think though, it's finally time to address the elephant in the room, and that's PlayStation. Ever since I was young, I've always had a Nintendo console, a PlayStation console, and a PC. My dad would let me watch him play Tomb Raider on the PS1, and I know I would play Crash Bandicoot from time to time. On top of that, Mario Party 2 and Smash Bros. 64 were some of the games we played a lot together. Fast forward to now, and I've pretty much had every single Nintendo console and every single PlayStation console. Those of you familiar with my Gaming Hour series, you know I straight up have a PS5 and an original PS3 that could also play PS2 and PS1 games. I also have dozens of PlayStation games ranging from games that I grew up with to the games I got later interested as an adult. I've always picked up the games I really care about on one of my two consoles physically. I mean, that's the whole point of a console, right? To pop in that physical disc or cartridge. I know PC has pretty much been digital for the past 2 decades, and that's why I like having consoles. So yeah, that recent announcement kind of stung as a physical gamer myself. While yes, I will probably still be picking up physical games for the PS5, I won't be getting any more after they go completely digital. I've even made an effort to start picking up some of my Switch and Switch 2 versions of those games, non-keycard of course. The whole reason why I got invested in the PlayStation ecosystem was because they can play DVDs and Blu-rays. I even started picking up 4K Blu-rays since the PS5 can play those as well. Yeah, I used to play my DVDs on my OG Xbox with that little remote attachment, but having a little box that can do both was great. It's a bummer to see PlayStation go down this route, and if I'm really being honest, if they really go through with it, then I'm done with PlayStation. Bye! Obviously, I know that them losing one customer such as myself isn't going to completely kill their business, but the nice part as a consumer is that I have the option to go elsewhere. Don't want to do physical anymore? Then I'll just stick with my Switch 2 and PC. I never really cared for high-end graphics, as I like when games have good gameplay and good stories. If applicable, of course. I know some games you just run and jump. And yes, I will just be waiting for GTA 6 to come to PC, as that's where I've played mostly all of them anyway. That was one of the biggest blows because a code in a box is more insulting than a goddamn keycard. Honestly, at the end of the day, I understand that we are approaching a digital future with our media. I understand all the ups and downs with physical media as well. I know that disc rot and cartridge failure is a thing. I understand that physical boxes take up a lot of space. I understand that I could go do something other than playing video games, and yeah, I get it 100%. I know I'm not alone, but physical media is important to me as it's important to many others. I might not be locked out of PSN, but if I'm being honest, I really only play games when I'm making gaming hour videos or just playing a game with my kid. That's the thing as an adult. We might have the funds to get games, but we don't have the free time to play them. So why even bother with this hobby? Well, I bother with this hobby because when I do have that rare chance to play a game, I get to escape to a world just for a little bit. Video games are my favorite type of medium when it comes to consuming something for entertainment. I love the stories told in video games. I love the worlds to explore in video games. I love just watching the silly man in red go wahoo in video games. Is that a problem? Obviously not, because only someone who feels the same way as I do made it this far into the video. Did you really make it this far in the video if you hate physical media? Probably not. I honestly could go on and on and on about the importance of physical media, but it just boils down to I like my physical media. It's always great to just grab a movie off my shelf and watch it. It's always fantastic to pick up a game and let a friend borrow it. And of course, it's always simple to just sell off something if I'm done using it. Can't really let my friends borrow a digital game unless they are on my family plan for Nintendo Switch. Can't really sell a digital game when I'm done playing it, and it's sort of just stuck in my library until it eventually gets delisted and revoked for whatever reason, or my account gets banned. And that's the last point I want to bring up. If buying a game digitally isn't owning it, then what the hell is? I bought a game, then I should own that game. GOG is probably the greatest example of buying a digital game and actually owning it. I understand that when I buy a game on their platform, I can do whatever the hell I want with it. Put it on a disc and play it that way? Sure, why the hell not? I think digital is cool, but when it's more consumer friendly. I understand that we are just buying digital license for said games, but at least on Steam, I'm able to play some of the games that I bought almost 20 years ago. On PlayStation? Nah, that's stuck on the now dead and buried PSP store. Oh yeah, the PS Vita and PS3 stores are shutting down too, so I can kiss those games goodbye unless I already had them installed. And yes, I know you can still technically download those games that I purchased, but still though, that's not the point I'm trying to make, okay? I'm just at a point where I am actually content with what I got. I have enough physical media to keep me entertained for the next decade or two. The only games that I really get at launch are certain Nintendo games and games that I really want to play on PC. Everything else, I am 100% okay with waiting a few months to a few years for it to finally drop in price, be it from the retailers or on the secondhand market. I also have a ton of games that I want to cover on my Gaming Hour show for my physical collection, and as you saw, I have enough to keep me going for a long time. I guess this is the part of the video where I say, is physical media important to you? Do you prefer getting digital on one console and physical on another? Are you like me where you kind of do like 70 to 80% physical and 20 to 30% digital? Are you completely digital? Do you only do streaming content? I am genuinely curious of all this because I chat with many different people online who say that they are mainly physical or mainly digital. No real in-betweenies. Anyway, the next part is going to be a little segment for both my physical collection of media, as well as some of the important highlights of them. If you don't really care about that, then you could just end the video here, or jump straight to the conclusion/end cards of the video on the timestamp on screen. Hello everyone, it's time to look at my physical collection, starting off with my video game posters. These are the ones I pretty much look at whenever I'm working at my desk. As you can see, there's my computer desk. Then followed up by my little attraction posters from when I worked at Disneyland. Then a bunch of pictures, those D&L magnets, name tags, you know, whatnot. And then my little stuff that sits on top of my CD shelf, which is Pokeballs, CD player, Chorokyu, and attraction stuff. The top of my CD bookshelf is game soundtracks, and the second shelf is more game soundtracks. And if you are curious, the third shelf is has some overflow of game soundtracks, but this is mainly like hardcore music, like techno and stuff. And then the bottom shelf is just various, like Japanese city pop and whatnot. And then my Dreamcast collection, my PS Vita collection, which is in a drawer for some reason. My amiibos and little doodads. And then, yeah, that's my physical game collection. It sits on the top 3 shelves of my bookcase. Starting off with GameCube. I've had these since I was a wee lad. Followed up by Wii and then Wii U. Such great little Nintendo consoles there. Followed up by the Sega Saturn, which I only have Japanese copies of those. Then my Switch collection, followed up by Switch 2 and PS5. Those all share a shelf. And then this is where basically all the PlayStation games live, my PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 games. I have a lot of great little memories from these because I've been collecting these for the longest time. These weren't all done overnight, by the way. I pretty much got into game collecting around when I graduated high school back in 2013. Like there's my DS collection, my 3DS collection. Bunch of banger games, if I do say so myself. And finally, rounding off is my 4 shelves of Blu-rays and DVDs. Mainly Blu-rays, though. I started getting into Blu-ray collecting and buying Blu-rays when I got my PS4, which was around 2013. And rounding it off with my books, which is like games and just various books. And now it's time to just cover just a small handful of some of my physical media. We'll go ahead and start with a book. Now, while you saw my book collection earlier, this is probably one of the most important ones, as it's the ending for Final Space, which was a TV show that was pretty much canceled after season 3 due to a tax write-off. And the creator of the show got to basically make a full-on graphic novel of the show Final Space. This is probably one of my most cherished items in my book collection. Obviously, I have a few art books and a bunch of other random stuff, but this one takes the cake. Next up is going to be my many Blu-rays and DVDs, but I'm only going to be showcasing one, and it's the Charlie the Unicorn 20th anniversary. Now you may be thinking, oh, you can just watch this on YouTube. Yeah, I can. But here's the thing is, having this physically means that I have this, and if for whatever reason YouTube disappears, I can always watch Charlie the Unicorn on on my own devices. That's really cool. Now up next is going to be my CD collection. As you could tell from earlier footage, I have a lot of CDs, and I'm just going to cover 3. This one is a most recent pickup. It's basically the 20th anniversary of S3RL, or Searle, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he basically released this 20th anniversary album that has like the best of the best from the past 20 years of him making music. He even has like them all neatly organized in what eras they were. This is a cool thing, especially because he only made about 1,000 copies of this. And mine is signed. I don't know if you can see that. Up next is going to be Hardcore Addiction 5, and you may be wondering, what the hell? This was actually the first CD that pretty much started this entire collection. This one's kind of important to me because it started a problem. And last but not least is my Xenoblade Trilogy collection. Basically, the entire trilogy on CD. Here's all of the CDs, and if you take, let's just take this one out. This is from Xenoblade 2. This one's from Xenoblade 3. This one's special because this is the only way the Torna soundtrack got released physically. Other than that, it's never been released physically. So this box pretty much has the entire trilogy, and if you know anything about me and Xenoblade, is I love this series. This was a no-brainer pickup, and I absolutely love listening to the music while I'm working. I guess we'll also go ahead and move on to video games, which is probably one of my favorite things that I have. Obviously, I'm going to start with the Xenoblade trilogy. I have them all on Steelbook. These ones came in the special edition versions that Nintendo released. This one is an import because the special edition didn't come with the Steelbook, so you can tell there's some Korean on there. These are awesome, and I love having these on Steelbook. Hopefully Genesis comes on a Steelbook too. And then one last Steelbook, and obviously this is also a recent release, is the Halo Campaign Evolved. The sucky thing is that, yeah, this didn't pretty much come on, only like 30 gigabytes was on this disc, and the whole game was like 100. But having Halo on a PS5, I wanted to get this in a Steelbook, and I was able to get that little special collector's edition. This is pretty cool. Up next is some PS2 games. This one I actually was a recent pickup, and believe it or not, it's in a Hollywood video rental. It's in a Hollywood video rental case, and you may be thinking, why would you want that over like an actual PS2 case? This is part of history, and I used to go to Hollywood Video all the time renting games, so having this little piece of history is cool in and of itself, and it's the only rental copy that I actually have. And then obviously my favorite game on the PS2, which is Road Trip. Unfortunately, when I bought this on eBay a few years ago, it only came with the disc and the manual for some strange reason. So I had to get this other one printed up. And so it's not the highest quality, but hey, it's still important to me. So, and you also know that I am a PC gamer, and this is probably one of the coolest items in my collection is Crazy Taxi 3. I actually like this one over the first two. It's basically a best of all of them, and having this on PC, even though it never released here in the States, is pretty cool. And yeah, that's just some of my many things that I've collected over like the past 31 years of my life. Obviously, I started getting video games and stuff when I was like, I don't know, pretty much allowance age, like 7, 8, 9. And some of these games I've had pretty much since my early childhood, so you can tell this is all improv because I usually have these things scripted, but this was an unscripted part of the video. So let's go back to the outro guy. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this weirdly long episode of Watersurf Side Tangent. And just to make the record clear, I honestly don't have any beef with anyone who is only digital, as long as they are enjoying the media that they have. Just wanted to put that out there in case anyone thought I was a physical only snob or something like that. Heck, you should see my Steam library. Oh yeah, there are some end cards with some stuff that you should check out, like my gaming hour. And feel free to check out some of my back catalog and or become a channel member today, as it helps me with these silly little videos. Well, that's the outro thing, so have a nice time, Zone Gamers.